We wanted to know who's showing up to these events more than a year before the election and what they think of Sand's message. KCCI chief political reporter Amanda Rooker followed Sand as he visited 5 counties in a single day.
Beautiful for spacious skies.
The same song echoes through the Clarion Public Library,
Majesty above.
a Dakota City church, an Ames brewery. The key may be different, but the tone the same. It's how Rob Sand starts every stop on his 100 town hall tour through Iowa, a show of unity after surveying the crowd.
Raise your hand if you're a registered Republican here today. Okay, thank you all for being here. Raise your hand if you're a registered independent voter here today. All right, thank you for being here.
Sand says he measures his town halls by the hands that go up, sometimes 3 or 4, sometimes a dozen.
That's a great measure of success because those are a lot of people who typically wouldn't feel welcome going to a political event.
It's all part of his mission to present voters with something different. On Tuesday, he swung through 5 different counties. Voters across the political spectrum say his message resonates.
He's thinking outside the box.
I think he has a new message, a more inclusive message.
Kind of tired of the rhetoric and the same old that's coming out of Des Moines. It's time for something different.
On every stop, Sand tells the crowd that one-party control in Iowa isn't working.
An economy that is in 49th place in America, personal income growth that is in 48th place in America, a cancer growth rate that is #1 in the country. We are literally losing the contests you want to win and winning the contests you want to lose. And it reminds me of one story that always stuck out to me in the New Testament.
The end of his stump speech sounds almost like a sermon.
Jesus went to the temple and he saw the money changers taking advantage of people. And he flipped their tables over. He said, "You brood of vipers." That's sort of how I feel about Iowa government right now. There are some tables in Des Moines that need flipping, and I would love to have your help with that in November of 2026.
That line drew loud applause during his final stop Tuesday at a Story County brewery. With a crowd of about 300, most of them Democrats, the mood felt hopeful.
I'm a lifelong Iowan. I grew up in a small town in Iowa. And my question is, where have you been all my life?
But in a state that Donald Trump won by double digits last election, Sand faces an uphill battle. So he's hitting the road.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
More than a year before Election Day.
Why start this early with an 100 town hall tour?
Our message is very different. We want to give people more time to hear that because what we're finding is that when they do hear it, people kind of come out of the woodwork in support of it.
Voters say it's not too early to be paying attention.
Too many times we end up at the last minute making decisions and not having the full picture. And he's getting out there to give everybody the full picture of where he's standing. And that's what we need.
Rob Sand ends every town hall reminding voters that he'll be back. He says he's going to do this whole 100 town hall tour again in 2026. In Hamilton County, Amanda Rooker, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
The race for governor is growing with several campaigns announced and others considering a run. Republicans who have announced campaigns so far: State Representative Eddie Andrews, former State Representative Brad Sherman, and former Department of Administrative Services Director Adam Steen. State Senator Mike Buslow and 4th District Congressman Randy Feenstra are also considering campaigns. As far as the Democrats are concerned, along with State Auditor Sand, longtime political advisor Julie Stouch is running for governor. Ames resident Sandra Wilson is running as a no-party candidate.